Business is not a subject that you should study, but you should do. A lot of people will tell you that, and frankly, they are right. However, there are some courses that sets apart a business major from other majors. And one of the major like that is business communication. My name is Xenox, and today I'm going to cover some of the basics of business communication that I learned from my university as a business or banking major. So let's start. Communication is a thing that we do at a day-to-day basis. We talk to people, we buy things, we tell stories, and we in day-to-day conversation we are doing communication. But what is business communication? Business communication is something that we do in a more professional way. So it's not for everyone, and mainly for those who are doing business, who are doing BBA, but everyone should know some of the basics that will be useful for you if you are joining in a firm as an internee. So let's look at some of the basics that this course is teaching us to be a better employee. Or so here are the types of business communication. There are mainly two types of business communication. One is internal and the second is external. What I mean by internal is that in an internal business communication, you're really communicating with your colleagues or with your managers or superiors or supervisors. This is a communication that is happening within a business. It can be for running a day-to-day operations. You are asking your managers to advise you on a certain subject that you are not familiar with, or you're just communicating with your employees about your work, etc. Anything that is being done inside a firm. For an external business communication, this is really happening with customers who are not part of a business. It can also happen with supplier or government who are actually not involved within the day-to-day operation of a business. So that's why it's called external business communication, and internal business communication is within the business, external outside. Simple. So we look at the two types of business communication, which are internal and external. Let's look at how the internal business communication, why is it important? Why is internal business communication important, and what function does it have inside a business? So an organization needs to have a structure. Every organization needs to have a structure because without a proper structure, they cannot complete day-to-day function and achieve their goals. For a business, the main goal is to earn profit, right? Sell products and earn profit. You need to understand that a business not only the sales product, okay? it, it has a different it has lots of departments, and for example, they have sales department, they have finance department, they have IT department, they have administration, lots of different types of department. They have production department. A business needs to connect them all. Okay, they need to connect all of the department for it to achieve the ultimate goal, which is to sell a product, to do business in the real world. So that connection cannot happen without proper communication. Let's say you work in a multinational company, and your uh, your boss is your supervisor, and his boss or her boss is the manager of the sales department. The manager assigns tasks to the supervisor, and supervisor explains it to the employee, and employee does the work. The manager is going to assign task, right? So the manager says, do do most of today's work, try to complete most of the today's work. He's being very vague because he's using words like most. The your supervisor might not understand it. Okay, he may try to do everything, and your supervisor now is trying to explain to you how to achieve today's work, which is very much, but he's trying to explain it in his own language, which might be Japanese or Spanish. He's not a native English speaker, and this might uh, translate to bad communication because you are not understanding him at all. So there were two barriers to communication. First of all, the manager was not concrete in his advice to the supervisor. He did not say 95% do you about 80% of your work or 90% of your work. He said most. So the supervisor didn't understood. So the supervisor did not understand his work, and that's why he was stressed, and he tried to explain the work to you in his own language, which presents us to our next barrier to communication, which is language barrier. And this can translate into poor service from you because you did not understand your work properly. So a good communication can solve this problem, can bring high productivity and reduce errors and conflict. By reducing errors and conflict, you are saving the business a lot of money, and high productivity can be very useful in a manufacturing business because this really uh, translates to reduced overall cost for a production line. Now let's look at the external ways a business can communicate. It's a very important part of a business to handle its customer properly because you have to have a good relation with your customer. Customer service is one of the ways you can build a good reputation and a good connection to your customer. Customer service can range from providing your customer with useful information, helping them, guiding them through your website, helping them in their delivery, and also listening to any complaint they have about your service or product. Advertisement is a promotion of a product. You are asking your customer to buy a certain product or purchase a service so that you can really increase your sales and etc. This all comes down to good communication. A business person who has a good communication is likely to attract lot a lot more customer than others. A proficiency in communication can help. For example, suppliers, banks, and government. These are the three most important external communication that helps in growing a business. Let's look at how. First of all, there is suppliers. Let's say you have um, supplier in China, for example. You can communicate with him by talking in English, but if you have, if you can really speak in Chinese, you can really win his heart because Chinese people love when other people learn the language. So you can kind of negotiate the prices of your raw materials with him, and he may be able to give you a better deal. In the case of banks, uh, emotional negotiation or emotional blackmailing doesn't really work because you have to negotiate a lot of things. Like you have to show them your financial statements, you have to show them profits, you have to show most of this, you have to show uh, numbers really to negotiate. But this also comes down to how good you are at presenting things. Like if I give you a financial statement, you can't really do nothing with it. A normal person can't really do nothing except for defining the profit, that this profit has increased. But a good communicator can also show things like ratio analysis, liquidity ratio, then acid test ratio. They can show the gearing ratio of the company, a lot of other things that a bank really look at, not just the profit or revenue of the, they also look at the cash inflow. So a good communicator will be able to communicate it to a bank, and the bank is likely to prefer a business who can communicate its financial statement well and give low interest. Government. So why are we even communicating with government? We have to communicate with the government because government gives receives tax from us, so we have to provide a certain amount of money to the government, and it really and uh, they can also release us from our tax burdens, because if we're in that type of business, like we are in an agricultural business, we are likely to get away from taxes. So what I'm trying to say that in external communication, like handling customers or negotiating with other parties who benefit our business, it's very important to have a good communication. And without good communication, I think we will lose sales as well as can't even run our business in the long run. I think presentation in general has a significant importance in business communication, because this is not for just the BBA students, it's really for everyone. And that's the main reason I have decided to explain the basics of this course and wanted to share my knowledge of this course with you guys. Uh, I have a little bit of experience in doing presentation. I have done 4 presentation in my first semester. When you're presenting anything, you have to be loud and clear. Audiences audiences must know that what you're talking about is important. So hence you have to be loud. It also has to be clear so that they can understand what you're saying. If you're not clear, if you're mumbling, they will lose interest immediately. Hand gestures is another way through which you can grab a audience attention. They may be scrolling through their phones, but if you're doing hand movements, they will be distracted and they will actually listen to what you are speaking. Here you can say I've just given a messenger logo. What I wanted to explain is that in your slide you have to keep your you have to keep your texts short, because you're just giving a presentation slide. Okay, you are not writing a report, you are just showing your slide and explaining yourself. Don't write everything on your slide. You please don't make this mistake. Don't read your slide and present. Memorize a script and then preach it. Okay, don't just follow the slide and speak what's in the slide, because teacher will not like it. Keep it short, just give the key points in your slide and then move on. Everyone will give a picture, because that's the main point of a presentation side. People will see pictures and they will see key points. Your pictures have to be significant. For example, here you can see uh, I've given a slide about air pollution. I have used the most extreme air pollution pictures. There are lots of pictures in the internet, but they are not that extreme. So keep it short and use pictures which are significant to and which will actually contribute to your slide. Here we have 5 written forms of business communication. We have business letters, memos, minors, agenda, and cover letter. For most people, cover letter is an important document that everyone needs to learn actually. It's not for the BBA grades, it's for everyone. You can be a chemistry major, mathematician, anything you want. You need to know how to write a proper cover letter for you to get a job in any firm. Cover letter follows a very simple pattern. It's not that difficult. First of all, you need to write your name. You to you need to give your address in this manner, and then you have to just give the proper date. Then you need to provide your information. Then you need to provide the information of a recruiter. Here in this case, it's recruiter manager of Bolivan Hospital. Things that you need to remember when you are composing your cover letter is that you need to mention where did you get the job advertisement from. Then you need to mention, then you need to really tell a lot about yourself. For example, we have applied for a sales manager position, or a sales manager position in Lenovo. So you're gonna tell your recruiter that I know about this product. I know how sophisticated this technology is. I know how it's so user friendly that I use it myself. I love this product. So I just wanted to share uh, my favorite product with everyone. So you need to show some kind of form of interest to the position you're applying for. You're a sales manager, so you need to show that you're willing to sell this product to everyone as you like it yourself. Then you need to show your experience. You might have a little bit experience working in a retail, for example. They don't really like that, but you can say that you have an huge experience in working in retail, so you have the necessary skill to process things and package things, etc. You know how inventory works, you know how to keep the financial records, etc. Then you need to also have some form of background knowledge about the company you are trying to get recruited into, and it's very important that you also ask them to reply to you. Okay, you practically have to beg them to answer your email, because they will not see your desperation. They will think that this person is not desperate enough. Then we have meeting minute. What is a meeting minute? A meeting minute is basically a summary of the whole meeting conducted by anyone. The chairperson of a company may have conducted a meeting that really tells about how certain there will be certain changes in the policy of a company. There will be a certain, there can be huge projects like opening of a new branch in a new location. These types of things are discussed in a meeting, in important meetings, and a lot of the time people are not present. People have other things, have other problems that enable them to attend important meetings. A meeting for the opening of a new branch, the production manager might not be present, okay, because he or she has family problems. So a meeting minute will help her to know what has happened in the meeting and what was discussed, the topics that was discussed. A meeting minute follows a simple pattern. You have to mention the date in which the meeting occurred, the time it took for the whole duration of the meeting, the location it was conducted in, how many people were present, the people who were absent, project was opening of a new branch, topics that were discussed. Like it can be the location was decided, the number of employees was decided, the budget was fixed. These are important things that should be mentioned in a meeting minute. In a meeting minute, it should also be mentioned that when will be the next meeting, my meeting will be conducted. Everyone needs to know how to write a business letter. You are a random citizen of a random country. You need to uh, file a complaint about, for example, your mouse. Your mouse was broken and you need to file a complaint. So you will write a business letter. Jabir company is selling mouse and it's not functioning. The processor it's just mumbling. It's just teleporting. So you're facing this problem. What you need to do is first of all mention the code. Every product has a code. You just need to look at the package. You need to mention the code of the product. Then you need to name the product. For example, this is a mouse, laptop mouse. First of all, you need to mention the product code. Then you need to mention that it's a mouse and it was delivered to me in this specific date. You need to specify that date as well. Then you need to also mention what's the exact problem. For example, in our case, it was malfunctioning. Okay, so you need to specify that. Then you need to also tell them what you are expecting. You might be expecting a whole replace, or you might be expecting a whole refund. You need to specify that. Then you will just end your letter. There are lots of different types of business letter. You don't need to know them all, but you need to at least learn how to compose a business complaint letter. Then we have report writing. Report writing is important for people who are doing research. Those who are doing thesis or doing a research, written research, report writing is essential. I can't stress this enough. For a business manager, it's also very important. A lot of BBA students don't really understand how important report writing can be. They just compose it like an essay. But you need to learn how to write a proper report, how to properly write a report. I don't even know myself, so I'm learning. In future, I will probably publish a video about report writing. So stay tuned. So there are many reasons why a report is written. First of all, analysis of business function. You are just here describing the functions of a business. Product launch. You might be launching a new product. So in this report, you're gonna talk about how in demand your product might be, how there's a particular problem and your product might be suited for. Case study analysis is when you're given with a problem in a business. For example, there is a loss of sales. You're gonna you will be asked to identify the problem first, then give a solution. You're just gonna provide simple. Then financial analysis. In business technology subject, there was report writing, and we provide a 5 years financial statement. And in that part of the report, we had to show a lot of things like ratio analysis, the shift in profit, increase in profit, revenue, then gearing ratio, etc., etc. We had to also why there was a change. Okay, you need to mention a lot of changes in a financial year. It's not like that the profit just increased or the revenue increased. These are not going to work. Like I mentioned before, government take financial statement from public businesses, every business. Okay, they take financial report from everyone, and they need to understand that your financial statement is valid and it's following the ACCA. Last but not least, techniques of conducting a meeting. Here I have tried to explain the techniques of conducting a corporate meeting, not necessarily something like conducting a meeting for a project or for a school project, but still, if you're a student, I think this is a very good opportunity for you to learn how to conduct a proper meeting with your peers. And I did it. Okay, I conducted a not so successful meeting, but I conducted a very good meeting with my friends, and that helped us a lot in our university project. First of all, plan the meeting. I mentioned before that you need to know you need to know how to write these 5 things, and among those were memos. A memo is very simple. It's just communication within a business, and it doesn't follow a structure like I mentioned. Agenda is important. This really plans the topics that will be discussed in a meeting. So you need to plan the meeting first. So you have to prepare an agenda here. Then follow the plan. You need to follow the topics that you have mentioned in the agenda. If you're not following the topics that you have mentioned in the agenda, people will get confused. Let me tell you about this course, particularly business communication. Our teacher asked us to prepare a report. about a product you will launch in the market. It will have to be innovative and it will have to solve a problem. So what we did in our meeting is that first of all we discussed what product to choose. Then we discussed the ways we can conduct our research. Then we allocated work to each individual to follow a chain of events or chain of topics. Without a chain, everyone will be confused. If I suddenly start discussing about what type of games we're gonna play at 12 p.m., everyone will lose focus and the meeting will be over. So we have to follow the plan. So first of all, plan the meeting, which is preparing the agenda, and follow the plan. Then move the discussion along, which is following the topic one by one. Don't just break the topic, like don't just discuss about workload if you haven't even decided what product you're gonna select. Control the talkative ones. This means that in a group there will be some people that talks a lot, and what you need to do is not just shut them up. Okay, don't just shut them completely. You're gonna discourage them. What you need to do is just thank them. Like in a meeting, if they're just talking too much, you're gonna say thank you for your contribution. Let's ask X and Y. And for that reason, our fifth number point is very important. Encourage participation. In a meeting, you have to uh, seek contribution from everyone. Everyone needs to contribute to the meeting, because if they don't, they will feel demotivated, and you will face a lot of problems in the actual work. Control time. You need to know how to control time. You need to understand that a meeting should not exceed 1 hour or so. If you can't finish your meeting in 1 hour, just set up another meeting. Just end the day. But control time of each topics. For example, in if you are discussing workload and that's the most important part in a group project, allocate about 20 minutes in work allocation. Then allocate other times to segments which are not so important. Summarize on important places. So this is not for us. We are just doing university projects, but in a corporate meeting, people are discussing about budgets. People are discussing about huge policy changes. These are uh, significant topics to be discussed. So in this case, it's best to summarize in those areas, because a manager or people of high position don't really uh, uh, give that much attention to a meeting, because they have other things to worry about. So it's best if you are summarizing in those places so that they understand what's going around. Preparing meeting minutes. So preparing meeting minutes is the last thing that you are doing in a meeting. And like I discussed before, how to prepare a minute. You're gonna make the minute in that way, and it's very important to make a minute, because people who are absent will be able to understand what has happened, and they will be able to involve in any changes that comes
Then
their way. We have discussed a lot about how to win a job campaign, how to be good in an interview. About job campaign, there's no much to it, because we're not really doing any internship or anything. But basic things like how to win a job campaign can be knowing your interest, knowing your characteristic, how you are as a person. An introvert will not be very good at sales or marketing. Okay, he will be good at this job. So knowing how you are as an individual, knowing your academic skills is it's very important, because a finance major won't be doing electrical engineering. Okay, let's be honest. And then knowing if you're even interested in the job itself. There are other factors like geographical location or barrier. These types of barrier are something which can hamper a person's ability to get a job. These things I just discussed this in short. I didn't think it needs a whole topic. It's basic things, and you will learn actually how to get a good job if you're just. Um, it really builds up with experience. What I have given here, it's a video about the mistakes we make in our interview. My friend Fatul Bari has made a made an excellent video in that, and I think everyone should watch it if they want to check it out. It's in Facebook. I don't think it's in YouTube. Check it this out. I don't really need to explain how to give an interview, good interview. Just I will gonna mention a few things, basic things like you have to wear a good attire. You have to know about the, like I mentioned before, you need to know about like I mentioned in the cover letter, you have to know about the company itself. You need to show confidence. You need to have an understanding about the industry you're gonna work in. That's it. You're gonna, I think you're good to go. Also maintain some basic etiquettes. Some people really misses on that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have understood this course pretty well. Hopefully, I was able to explain it clearly. In the future, I will try to make more videos about finance or business. So stay tuned and see you in the next video. Bye bye.